American politics. It's a serious disease.
Which is?
I hope it's not fatal. It's like everybody just is worried about the next election. So the Republicans are like, well, we can't deal with DACA, or we can't deal with the border, and we can't deal with trade and do anything to say that the president is incorrect on this because it might deflate our base. Look, Democrats have done the same thing. There is a disease in politics today, and it is the disease of it's all about me. It's all about me staying in power.
Oh, but how does a trade war serve President Trump's base?
Well, the base is saying that, you know, we're getting ripped off around the world, and it's a demagogic statement. You know, we're losing, you know, everybody's taking advantage of us. Woe is us. See, what I tend to think is when you are the strongest, the most powerful, the wealthiest, then you have broad shoulders. You don't shrink away and, you know, whine and blame. You know, come on, that's not my country. That is not what America's been. We've been willing to do a lot of things to help people around the world. That's why what we're seeing happening on our border with taking children from their parents, I mean, everybody's talking about it. I've been concerned about DACA and immigration for a long time. You know, think about this. You think about the fact that in our country, children, young children, are being separated from their mothers and fathers. Could you imagine the terrifying effect on these kids?
I can't, and
I was reading last night about they're putting these kids in they called them cages. I read somewhere. I mean, are you kidding me?
This is America. That a family values party, because that's what conservatives say they are, I would think they would oppose this. So help me understand this border policy. And we're living at a time when Republicans control the Senate, they control the House, and they control the White House.
Stephanie, look, this is where you and I think you're terrific, where you and I part. When we had a government shutdown, I believe that the Democrats and Chuck Schumer abandoned DACA. They were not willing to make the fight. This is both parties. Don't you see what's happening? If you're a Democrat, then you're against everything the Republicans are doing. If you're a Republican, you're against everything the Democrats are doing. I got to play to my base. You know, if you're a Democrat today, if you don't play to the left-wing base, then you can't be approved by Bernie Sanders. Look, it's not just Republicans. It's the whole darn mess.
Governor,
am I frustrated with Republicans by the fact that they're not standing up? Of course I am. I've been saluting these congressmen who are willing to have a discharge petition to break loose a vote on DACA. I don't even know where that stands right now. It's so confusing to me. Stand up. Be for something in life. That's why people are frustrated and losing hope in institutions across the board in our country, Stephanie. This is serious for your kids and my kids.
Then, Governor, I guess what I don't understand, I don't have broad shoulders, but I do my homework. And whether it's Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi not showing up to the White House and addressing this with the president, or the president putting forward inhumane policies, whether you're talking about the far left base or the far right base, is this not a moment for the center to rise? Because this immigration policy serves absolutely no one. If you're a forgotten American who lost his job living in the state of Ohio, locking up immigrant children ain't going to bring your job back. Putting that money towards a workforce development program might.
You know, look, you have Laura Bush, who has penned a very emotional op-ed piece, I'm told, in the Washington Post, saying that, you know, she lives in a border state. This is not our value system. But let me give you another one that's jumping out now at me that's driving me crazy.
Please.
And that is their assault on this idea that if you have a pre-existing condition, you're not going to be protected on health care, that we could walk away from that. I got to tell you, I'm stunned, Stephanie, at what I have seen happening in this country over the last several years, but it just didn't start with Trump. It's been going on for a long time, the erosion in confidence in our basic institutions. So how do we fix it? You and I have to fix it. Your spouse, my spouse, our friends, the people we work around. We got to start standing for something and not just going along with the crowd. And that doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that we're going to be mean. It just means that we're going to say there are certain things that are right and wrong. And I just don't see enough of it. But I'm not going to lose faith because I know that right and wrong is written on our hearts. We just have to carry through with it when we see it.
Then what are you going to do about it? You say you and I have to do something. I'm not running for president, are you?
Oh, I don't know, Stephanie. You know that. I mean, I've only been asked that question. This is only the first time I've been asked this question,
well,
so I'm going to have to struggle
when you say
for an
we have
answer.
to stand up and do something,
Look,
I'm asking you, what is that
here's
something?
what I'm doing. Look, what I'm doing is I'm being the best leader I can be as the governor of Ohio. I'm being the best person I can be in terms of having a voice and speaking out. And I was just on vacation, and I went places that were, I was out of the country, took my family out of the country, took my daughters, 18-year-old twins, to Italy, my wife and I in Croatia. And everywhere I went,
trip.
even in those countries, people were saying, you keep it up, you keep speaking out. So I'm doing what I can do, but I'm just one guy. I'm going to do what I can do and see if I can make it contagious with others. And that doesn't mean I get it right all the time. Look, we're all failures, okay? It's just that we have good days and bad days. I want to have more good than bad.
That is a very good point. We're all failures. Good days and bad. Let's try to have more good. I really like that one. I want to ask you about North Korea because the president claims that's a good day. That's his best day. I struggle with finding where exactly that is. While he was the one person who did sit down with Kim Jong-un, it's because he was the one person who was willing to do it. What's your thought on it?
Well, look, it's better that they're talking than not. It seems to have lowered the threshold. But there is no room for praising this leader of North Korea. He is a vicious, brutal operator. They absolutely were involved in the death of Otto Warmbier from Cincinnati, and God bless his parents, and he lost his life. There's, 100,000 people in the gulags in North Korea. You don't talk about the fact the guy loved his country or that he's some kind of a good guy. He is no good. He is a bum. And all I can say is we don't want to hold people up like him and say that somehow he's got value. Well, maybe he can get some redeeming value. Maybe we ought to all pray for him. But right now, he is the force of evil in that country.
Then you
a lot of the same thing can be said for Vladimir Putin. The same kind of thing. That man has been engaged in activities that have caused, in my judgment, from what I've read, the loss of life that he's been able to approve. We don't hold people like that up. They're demagogues. They're bad news. They're not for the people, and the people suffer under them. So talk to them, negotiate with them, fine. But none of this praising or raising them up, or they love their country, or they're, what a great leader and all that. Terrible leaders. Terrible.
Governor Kasich, it is always fantastic to speak to you. My takeaway for the day, we're all losers. We just try to have more good days than bad.
That's exactly right. All right, Stephanie, thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, that is start the week. I really love that.